There's a photo, people try to delete it, but it keeps coming back. A husky with human teeth, creepy eyes, and a grin so wrong it feels like it's staring through the screen. In the background there's a shadow and a hand covering a face, like someone just saw the end of everything. They say the image spreads like a disease. Victims report hearing static, seeing things that aren't there, and having the same nightmare on loop. A hallway, a voice. Some tried to warn others. A girl said her mother stopped sleeping after seeing it. Another sent the photo to a stranger, then vanished. No blood, no chase, no monster in the dark, just a file on your desktop waiting for you to open it. Momo. Momo started as a sculpture, a bird-like woman with bugged-out eyes, stretched skin, and a smile that looked photoshopped by a sleep-deprived demon. But online, the image took on a life of its own. People began sharing rumors that Momo would text you at night, dare you to hurt yourself, or show up in your room if you ignored her. Some versions claimed it was a challenge hidden in kids' videos. Others even blamed WhatsApp because apparently cursed demons prefer group chats now. None of it was real, but the panic spread fast. The sculpture was called Mother Bird and was never meant to hurt anyone. The artist even destroyed it after the rumors got out of hand. But the internet kept Momo alive. Jeff the Killer. Jeff's origin wasn't polished or planned. It started with a blurry image and a story that felt like it was written during a nightmare and never edited. The photo showed a pale face, lifeless eyes, and a smile carved too wide to be human. That's all it took. The story behind him tells of a boy bullied until something inside snapped. After a fire, a breakdown, and a mere moment, he turned into a killer. The catchphrase was, "Go to sleep." It was less of a warning and more of a promise. The real fear came from how quickly kids believed it. They shared his story at sleepovers, passed it around like homework, and stared at that face long enough to start negotiating with their nightlight. Obey the Walrus. The video looks broken from the start. A person walks in slowly, wearing a dress, but something's off. Their arms and legs move like they're not connected right. Then it cuts, quick, weird, and sudden, to a close-up of a walrus staring straight ahead. No sound, and for no reason. The video came from a film called Mariana's Dance, featuring performer Sandy Crisp. But the internet stripped out the meaning and stitched in fear. The name, Obey the Walrus, made it sound like a threat, not a clip. People said it was cursed, even said that watching it would summon something. Some versions added glitchy music and fake warnings just to make it worse. The video didn't need jump scares, your brain did all the work, filling every quiet second with something worse than what was on screen. The more you watched, the less human it felt, like the video was judging you for still being there. At some point, even the walrus seemed disappointed. Slender Man. Slender Man showed up online in 2009 during a creepy image contest. Just a tall guy in a suit with no face. Basically a nightmare version of your least favorite teacher. There was nothing loud or gory, just the kind of wrong that makes your skin crawl. People couldn't stop staring. People gave him powers, teleportation, mind control, the ability to make kids disappear. He started showing up in creepypasta stories, blurry photos, and fan-made games. The more people added to the myth, the more real he felt. Then 2 middle school girls in Wisconsin stabbed their friend, claiming it was for Slender Man. That's when everything changed. A made-up monster from the internet had crossed into real life. The panic didn't start with Slender Man himself. It started when a story spread so far, someone tried to make it real. The Maze Game Girl. You sat down at the computer, full focus on a quiet little maze. No music and no warnings, just a blue dot crawling through narrow paths. And then boom, screaming, a pale face, eyes bulging, mouth twisted, filling the screen like it knew where you lived. That was Reagan from The Exorcist, borrowed without permission and turned into the internet's cruelest rite of passage. Nobody remembers the game, everyone remembers the scream. Kids slammed laptops shut, fell off chairs, or punched the screen in pure terror. It wasn't a ghost, a demon, or a story. It was a jump scare disguised as a puzzle, and it scarred a generation. Most people never finished the maze, because the maze never planned on letting them. And for a moment, you truly believed the computer was haunted. Red Mist, Squidward's suicide. The lost episode starts like any SpongeBob rerun, until it takes a hard turn into do not show this to children. But then Squidward looks into the camera, his eyes are red, the music slows, and everything feels wrong. No punchline, no cut to credits, just silence and something waiting, like a jump scare on vacation. Red mist wasn't real, but the internet didn't care. Screenshots started popping up. Kids whispered about a frame where Squidward shoots himself. Fake Nickelodeon insiders swore it was real. It spread like a virus. No one could prove it existed. Everyone acted like they'd seen it. What made this one hit harder was how it used something familiar. A kid's cartoon turned into a death spiral, and once people saw that image of Squidward crying blood, it stuck. Ben drowned. It started with a used Majora's Mask cartridge. The save file was named Ben, and the game was broken in the kind of way that feels personal. Link's face glitched. A statue followed you around. The music played backward like it was trying to say something. Players tried deleting the file. It came back. The statue wouldn't go away. The game spat out lines like, "You shouldn't have done that," even when no one pressed anything. It didn't feel like a game anymore. It felt like something was inside it. People online shared footage. No blood, no cheap scares, just a game that knew your name, moved when it shouldn't, and stared without blinking. Basically a haunted version of tech support. Ben didn't move, but the longer you looked, the more wrong it started to feel, like the screen was holding its breath. Laughing Jack. Laughing Jack started as an imaginary friend. He was colorful, loud, and always smiling. The kind of character you'd see in a kid's cartoon. If that cartoon slowly turned into a nightmare, the story comes from an old creepypasta about a lonely boy who needed a friend and got something else instead. Jack played video games, told jokes, and never left. But over time, the jokes stopped being funny. The room got colder. The smiles got sharper. He didn't knock over lamps or slam doors. He waited, watched, and made the boy feel like he was never alone. The scariest part came from how normal everything seemed at the start, like nothing was wrong, until it was. Like a prank that goes on just a little too long until you realize it's not a prank at all. Smile.exe. It looks like Sonic, but something's off. The colors are darker, the eyes drip black, and that frozen grin stretches way too far. Smile.exe spread through screenshots and shaky videos, passed around like a virus pretending to be a game. There weren't jump scares or boss fights, just corrupted music, broken levels, and messages that felt a little too personal. You can't run, I am God. The gameplay didn't matter. What got under your skin was the feeling that the game was watching you back. Nope. No one bought it in stores, probably because cursed files don't come with receipts, and when your screen flickers and Sonic starts bleeding from his eyes, it's hard to believe it was ever just a fan-made file. Herobrine. It looked like Minecraft, until it didn't. Players reported seeing another figure in the fog. Same skin as Steve, but with glowing white eyes and no name above the head. No one invited him, no one could hit him, and yet somehow he built pyramids in oceans and dug tunnels no one remembered digging. The joke was that he was Notch's dead brother, trapped in the code, because nothing says family tragedy like being stuck in JavaScript, which makes no sense. Then you blink and the torches you just placed are gone, like your trust in single player. Herobrine wasn't loud, he just showed up, stared a little too long, and left your house weirder than he found it. People kept saying he was fake. Mojang even added removed Herobrine to patch notes like it was funny. But the more they joked, the more players swore they saw him. Maybe it was a hoax, or maybe Minecraft's biggest bug was personal. Cartoon Cat. He looks like an old school cartoon. Big eyes, stretchy limbs, and a permanent grin. But something about him feels off, like he crawled out of a VHS tape nobody remembers recording. Created by artist Trevor Henderson, Cartoon Cat isn't tied to a show or a story, he just exists, somewhere he shouldn't. People describe him bending in impossible ways, grinning through locked doors, or stretching through ceilings like gravity's a joke. One minute he's smiling, the next he's chewing on something that used to scream. The design's goofy on purpose. What gets under your skin is the feeling that something's deeply wrong underneath. He feels like the part of childhood we forgot on purpose. That dusty corner of the attic brain where old cartoons loop after midnight, warped by time and something else. And the longer you look at him, the more it feels like he's looking back, waiting for the episode to start. Zalgo. Zalgo spreads like a virus made of madness, not wearing a face, but crawling through corrupted code and broken words. You don't spot him in the corner, he creeps in through text, through images, through broken fonts that bleed and twist until your brain wants to reboot. It started as a meme, someone corrupted a Garfield comic, added black ooze and nonsense words. But the joke kept spreading. Comics, games, even Wikipedia pages glitched out with lines like, "He comes," or "He waits behind the wall." Zalgo was the thing you summon when you want the world to fall apart in 6 fonts at once. The terror wasn't gore, it was the feeling that your screen was infected. Like your browser tabs were screaming, but only in languages they'd forgotten how to speak. Zalgo skips the front door entirely. One glitched file, one broken sentence, and he's already inside. The Rake. The first time most people heard of the Rake, it was through a post claiming it had torn through a man's family while he slept. Pale, hairless, crouched at the foot of the bed with glowing eyes, like a skeleton trying to remember how to breathe. People online tried to connect sightings, from old journals to police reports, as if the creature had been stalking humans for centuries. Most people forgot the details. What stayed burned in was the image, a creature human-shaped enough to feel familiar, but wrong enough to make your stomach drop. The Rake isn't the type to run after you, it just stares, crouched in the dark, like it's waiting for something only it understands. Curls up in the darkest corner of your room and doesn't blink. It's not loud, fast, or dramatic, just quiet enough to leave you wondering if that shadow in the corner has knees. Eyeless Jack. You wake up groggy, something feels off. You head to the bathroom and notice the bandages. Fresh, tight, and not yours. That's the classic Eyeless Jack story. He's not interested in being seen, he just slips in, takes what he wants, and disappears. Jack's origins came from a creepypasta about a kid waking up with a missing kidney and no memory of the night before. The twist is that there is no forced entry, no noise, just a masked figure with empty sockets and a surgical hobby. It spread fast because it felt like a bad dream people swore they'd had. It's not the blood that gets you, it's in the idea that someone could open you up, take what they want, and leave you tucked back into bed like nothing happened. Eyeless Jack keeps quiet. He's more into collecting than performing. Siren Head. Siren Head moves slow, but not slow enough to save you. It's 40 feet tall, thin as a power pole, and somehow still sneaks up on people. His head is just 2 sirens bolted to a neck that shouldn't bend, blasting emergency broadcasts like they're on shuffle. It started in Trevor Henderson's horror art, but people latched on fast. Stories, sightings, fake news clips, all part of the game. The scary thing about Siren Head is that it mimics voices. Police radios, screams, so when you hear your friend calling for help in the woods, it might not be your friend, it might be bait. He hums, crackles, and when people look up and see a siren where a face should be, they freeze, like your brain is trying to reboot and failing. That's when it moves. Candle Cove. Candle Cove looked like a cheap kids show with puppets, low-budget seats, and bad acting, but people who remembered it always remembered something off. Episodes that ended in static, characters that just stared at the camera. One episode was just the puppets screaming for half an hour. The creepiest part was that everyone thought they imagined it. In the original story, old forum users start piecing together their memories of the show, only to realize their parents said there was never a show at all, just static on the TV while their kids sat and watched. Candle Cove looked like just another low-budget puppet show, until it started to feel like the show was watching back. It just used Saturday morning cartoons as a disguise to crawl into your living room. The Smiling Man. He shows up on empty streets, late at night, moving like his joints are too loose, smiling like he knows something you don't. He has no weapons and no threats, just a slow, unnatural walk straight toward you. The kind that makes your instincts start yelling before your brain catches up. The original story came from a Reddit post about a guy out for a walk who noticed a man dancing under a street lamp. The smile never dropped. He didn't speak, he didn't blink, just followed at a slow, taunting pace, like a puppet that learned how to hunt. There's no jump scare and no scream. The fear comes from standing in public, where you're supposed to be safe, and realizing no one's coming to help. He walks like he missed the memo on being human. He's something that doesn't belong, but no one ever told him that. Missing Number, Pokemon's glitch from the void. It wasn't a boss, it wasn't even meant to exist. Missing Number was a Pokemon glitch that showed up as scrambled pixels, crashing games, and corrupting save files like a ghost with a vendetta against Game Boys. Players discovered it by accident, surfing along a broken coastline in Pokemon Red and Blue. Instead of encountering a wild Pidgey, you'd get hit with a pile of numbers, symbols, and a sound that felt more like static than music. Sometimes it gave you 128 Master Balls, sometimes it gave you nightmares. The scariest part is that it felt alive. Trainers swore their game started acting weird. Pokemon disappeared. Hall of Fame entries turned into glitch soup. Missing Number looked like a bug, but acted more like a digital ghost. Quiet, broken, and impossible to forget. The Expressionless. She wasn't bleeding and she wasn't speaking, just standing there in a hospital gown, with a smile that didn't move and eyes that didn't blink. Doctors thought she was a trauma victim. Nurses thought she was a prank. Then she bit a chunk out of someone's neck. The story spread like a virus, shared on forums with blurry photos and shaky grammar. People swore she looked human just enough to fool you, until she didn't. The mouth stayed frozen, the eyes stayed wide, and she kept tearing through anyone who got close. No one found her again. No police report, no follow-up, just rumors and half-remembered threads. And somehow, that made it worse. Because when a monster disappears without a trace, the question isn't where it went, it's whether it was ever real to begin with.